A computer will decide where you work, where you live, and what you do, and we'll all live in big communal buildings. That sounds like prison, doesn't it? It is. But see, if you say it with long hair, you talk real soft and condescending and lisping and fake intellectual, and then Alex, if you don't agree, you'll be sent to a re-education camp.
No! These criticisms are both ironic and ignorant. Ironic because of the failure to recognize that trading mathematically ensures monopoly, or a wealthy elite, or a fascist dictatorship that towers over the poor majority, and ignorant since a monetary, trading-based society religiously believes it can escape natural law, and somehow wasteful consumerism and other unsustainable practices won't collide with Mother Nature. Defenses against what this documentary advocates are pro-ignorance and pro-religion. Besides the inherent contradictions, God is omnipresent but a being, God has an exact divine plan for you but allows free will, all-loving but will send you to hell if you don't believe in him, all-powerful yet demands your faith and prayer so he'll carry out coincidental miracles for you, all-powerful yet fails to solve the world's problems with cop-outs like end times. Contradictions don't faze religious people because they aren't thinking about what they're saying. Instead, they're regurgitating the nonsense they've been taught and have a personal attachment to the damaging beliefs that they have. And because of a factual inclination that reality doesn't support their beliefs, a religious person must spread their beliefs and surround themselves with people who have the same beliefs to make them feel secure. Religion is a nonsense mobilizing machine. There was no time for a God to create our universe, considering time did not exist before the Big Bang. Space-time is the fabric of reality, so everything is a product of unbiased natural laws, without purpose other than existence. Therefore, humanity has to assume responsibility. Do we want to allow society to manage itself intelligently with open source, or is our preference an ignorant, violent, war-based society, a free-for-all which allows and encourages poverty, pollution, addiction, etc.? If you don't like your religion's fundamentalists, then maybe there's something wrong with your religion's fundamentals? No one should have the right to religion, since prayer is violence.
Religious freedom does not mean freedom from religion.
This is a classic contradiction. God is all-powerful, but he's impotent, since he needs his believers to actually tell people about his existence.
Hi, we're from the Moron Church. Talk to you about Jesus.
No, actually, I'm not home at the moment.
Oh, well, okay, we'll come back later.
Moron.
This is fascist required ignorance, whereas natural laws are confronting to religious people, as they don't need people to tell them they exist.
Materialistic science has not disproven God or the Spirit. They just say there isn't one.
Actually, we can prove that prayer has no effect by testing it over and over. It's violence towards the self and others, and it's clear that business profits from people believing in such crap. Writing for a penny a word is ridiculous. If a man really wants to make $1 million, the best way would be to start his own religion. The blatant evidence prayer doesn't work while being promoted as something good is sickening. It's not my fault the Bible doesn't make sense, so don't hate me for quoting parts you don't like. All the false advertising in the world will not change the fact that religion is violent, suppressive, and socially self-destructive. Instead of directing our society with science and reason, the preference in a monetary trading society is for people to be directed by lunacy. Prayer is blind submission to authority, a lack of thinking, a gullible belief in heaven and hell, threatening people they'll go to hell if they don't pray to entity named here, threatening and censoring people who speak out against this nonsense. The promise of heaven is a mental slavery strategy to devalue human life in the present and to mobilize people into spreading religious nonsense.
The church doesn't like for people to grow up because you can't control grown-ups.
If hell isn't enough of a threat, religious fundamentalists, which lead the way regarding this insanity campaign, suggest beating your children into submission too. The spanking should be of sufficient magnitude to cause the child to cry genuinely. Moral justification is a powerful disengagement mechanism. Destructive conduct is made personally and socially acceptable by portraying it in the service of moral ends. This is why most appeals against violence fall on deaf ears.